So again, I mean, you can see some depth. Like you see this indentation where that line is? That's actually following the spermatic cord. So I mean, actually I would say like on this model, where that line is, there's that medial crus. So that's gotta be the lateral crus. And then the point in between has to be the lacunar. So again, I want you to know that for lecture tests, I want you to know that for national board exams, but I typically would not tag any of those structures on your actual test. Inguinal ligament, maybe. Superficial inguinal ring, maybe. Possibly you could see the deep inguinal ring on the actual models where we see the round ligament of the uterus enter into the inguinal canal. Okay. Let's go back to our other model real quick, even though this is a good high resolution model. Oh, I think it's a lot. If we look right through here, we can see a nerve traveling with the scrotum, popping out of the inguinal canal. This is the genital branch of the genitofemoral nerve. And we said yesterday that we were going to see that nerve actually passed out into the scrotum itself. So you can see how it's going all the way down to where the testicles are. So if we highlight it, we can follow it all the way back to the origin, piercing the psoas muscle, and then continuing down through the inguinal canal. We said there was another nerve that was going to go through there as well. I think that's the anterior scrotum. Let's get the inguinal. So if we look right there, we can see the ilioinguinal nerve passing down, going through the canal, but then it stops right there as it emerges from the actual superficial inguinal ring. So again, to be able to tell the difference between those two, one stops there, the other one actually drops down into the scrotum. And we said that the actual inguinal nerve, ilioinguinal nerve, actually goes down a little bit further. It gives some other cutaneous branches, but on the table it stops right here, and that works to our favor. Now, we come to the actual spermatic cord itself, and we said that the spermatic cord was covered in fascia, and that it's also covered in muscle. The muscle that's wrapping around the cord and going all the way down to the testicles themselves is the cremaster muscle. So, I guess we could highlight that on the other side maybe, and just leave that there. Actually, let's go ahead and use the high resolution.
So you said it's muscle and fascia?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So the muscle is going to run together with the actual tunica tunica vaginalis. Remember we said the superficial layer of fascia was when you can't see any of the actual depth. That's the tunica vaginalis. There, let's remove this side. Now on the other side, we can just highlight it, and we'll just kind of leave it there. Cremaster muscle. So now we've gotten rid of the actual tunica vaginalis that's covering over the cord, but we can still, on the actual testy itself, see the tunica vaginalis. So I'm going to get rid of the cremaster muscle on the left side so that we can go one layer deep. Now when we do that, can you see a pretty significant difference between the left and right testicle there? So on this right side where we see the tunica vaginalis, we don't really see any of the detail that we see on the left side. That left side is covered by that tunica albuginea or albuginea. It's just no color. Let's just do that. Bless you. And so one of the things that's going to help you be able to tell what layer it is going to be the epididymis. We said that epididymis was going to join together with another structure. Do you remember what that was?
Vas deferens?
The vas deferens, that's right. So inside the testicle itself, you have the seminiferous tubules. So we have a testy here, and then let's say that part is actually the epididymis. And inside there, there's gonna be these little compartments. And inside the compartment, you're gonna see like these little tubules that kinda go back and forth. There's gonna be a lot of them. Yeah. Bunches and bunches and bunches. So this is where we're creating the sperm cells themselves, okay? Those guys are gonna go here to the head of the epididymis, through the body, down through the tail, and then at this point, it's gonna connect with the vas deferens or the ductus deferens, okay? And then that's gonna take it up towards the prostate. So it's gonna go all the way up. So remember the seminiferous tubules here? We're not gonna see those, okay? So that's where the production of sperm's happening. But we can see the epididymis, which is right there. And then we can also see the vas deferens as a component of the spermatic cord. Right there. Now you may notice that it's pretty long. Remember, it's going from the epididymis, through the spermatic cord, through the canal. It's gonna go back to this little vesicular thing that's around the prostate gland, and then it's gonna pass through the prostate gland, through the urethra.
So is the spermatic cord just tissue holding other like cords inside of it, or does it actually have stuff?
It's
flowing
all the
inside of it?
contents. It's like the entirety of the structure,
Okay.
including the fascia, the muscle, the vas deferens, the vein,
Gotcha.
the artery,
Okay.
all that stuff.
If we look right here closer to the testy itself, you can see the peniform plexus. Make it nice and bright blue. Now, you're also gonna notice the testicular vein is right there with it, but it's not on our list yet, but it is traveling through there. So I won't test you that on the midterm, but it is there. And then, of course, we can see pretty well the testicular artery. And those are the contents of the spermatic cord itself, and then the stuff on the testy as well. Remember, if I want to know tunica albuginea, I would tag the testy and say, what layer of fascia is this on your index card? If I just had a pin stuck there and then there was just like the number 12 here, then you would just say testy, tunica albuginea, whatever you wanted to. Well, not whatever you wanted to.
Right.
One of those two things. I mean, whichever of the two. Is everybody okay with the contents there? Now, if we look here on the dorsum of the penis, we can see that there's some fascia in that area. If we remove that fascia, we can look a little bit deeper, especially from the side. We can see this ligamentous structure. That is the suspensory ligament of the penis. If you were to call it the fundiform ligament, you don't have to say of the penis or of the clitoris. You can just say fundiform ligament. That works for both sexes. But if you decide to say suspensory ligament, you have to say suspensory ligament of the penis or of the clitoris because there's also a suspensory ligament of the ovary. So you have to differentiate which one you're talking about so that I know you know what you know. And again, you can just see it right there attached to the dorsum.
That's the one that you said can get surgery.
Yeah, that's one, like, some people who are vain and would like to have a little more length, because if this is cut away, that's gonna make all of this hang down further and give the appearance that something's bigger than what it really is.
Can you show us on a female's body?
We won't really see this with the female here, but we saw it on the model. And they're actually, I found a model too that we can actually see for the male as well too, so I'll show you that next week. Yeah, there's one you can see the male too. But on the cadavers, for some reason, I haven't found one for the female. But I will show you where it would be. And then I'll also show you what's going through the inguinal canal for the female